Hey guys, let's talk about the OSI network model. So we're going to start with layer one at the bottom here and work our way up. So typically an upper layer would be encapsulated within a lower layer. Also, I should point out that this is more conceptual and it's used to kind of guide the concepts of how protocols are meant to interrelate with each other and doesn't necessarily map out exactly to TCP/IP or the TCP network model. So let's start with layer one here, the physical layer. Now, this deals with the physical transmission of data, including cables, connectors, and signaling methods. Now, layer two is the data link layer. So this enables data transmission between two nodes on the same network segment using protocols like Ethernet or Wi-Fi. So this is just like direct communication from, like, say, network interface to a port on a switch, right? Now, layer three is the network layer. So this is responsible for routing data packets across networks using protocols like IP, ICMP, and ARP. So, for example, it would use the IP protocol to route things from a host on one network to a host on another network, and it may need to pass through multiple switches, routers, and across work its way across multiple different networks to reach its destination. Now, layer four is the transport layer. So this provides reliable data transfer between endpoints using protocols like TCP and UDP. So the two endpoints would typically be two different applications. So an application would run on a host, and this is mostly just concerned with connecting one application to another application and not worrying about the details from the lower levels, with communication between from one host to another or routing or anything like that. Layer four is just concerned with connecting one application to another application, and applications will typically listen on a specific port on either TCP or UDP or potentially another protocol. Now, layer five above that is the session layer. This establishes, manages, and terminates connections between applications, allowing for dialogues and communication sessions. So examples of these protocols would be NetBIOS, RPC, SMB, or PPTP. So this actually creates an actual session. Oftentimes that might mean, like a login session or something like that. And it's after you've already established a connection, like a layer four connection between two applications, then you would actually open up an actual session. Now, above that, you have layer six. This is the presentation layer. So this is responsible for data formatting, encryption, compression, and ensuring that data is presented in a way that the application can understand. So this includes things like SSL or TLS, JPEG, GIF, or basically the encoding for images, and ASCII text, like the actual formatting of text and stuff encoding for text, things like that. They all belong on the presentation layer. Now, layer seven is the actual application layer. So this is the highest layer, providing network services to applications and users, such as email, web browsing, and file transfer. So this includes protocols such as HTTP, FTP, and DNS. So there you go. Those are the 7 layers of the OSI network model. Now, given these don't all always match up to real world implementations, and they don't always necessarily make sense. So here I'm going to go ahead and kind of criticize these a little bit. Personally, I feel like layers 5, 6, and 7 should be combined into one, because they're all just handled by application logic and they don't have anything to do with going from one point to another. So basically, layer 4 handles going from one point to another, one application to the other, and everything on layers 5, 6, and 7 is just application logic and stuff that happens internally within the application. So it's kind of silly to, I feel like they should be combined into one, and on the other competing network model, the TCP network model, they are all combined into one layer called the application layer. Another thing that doesn't always make sense with these is, for example, on the application layer, you have HTTP on the application layer, whereas 6 in the presentation layer, you will have something like JPEG. Now, JPEG images are transferred over HTTP, so they're encapsulated within HTTP. So if anything, a JPEG or a GIF image or even ASCII text should be a layer higher than HTTP, but in this case, they're kind of reversed the opposite way from what you would think they would be. Now, the other thing is, a login session might, you might establish an encrypted connection before you actually handle authentication and login information, or those might happen together in parallel. So putting SSL or TLS on layer 6, whereas layer 5 is the actual session layer, that also doesn't necessarily make sense. You might want to put a session above or at least together with SSL. Just my thoughts on this. Again, this is all just conceptual stuff to give you a concept of how different protocols might interrelate, and it doesn't necessarily map out, one-to-one with real-world implementations of these protocols. And this is just to break things out into very rigid, basically very rigid, separate layers that are rigid and gives you a good definition of how you might separate concepts. It's really conceptual and meant to define different concepts, but not necessarily something you would exactly implement in real life. So hopefully that helps you understand the OSI network model. Some people describe layers 5, 6, and 7 as propaganda and just made up stuff. Anyways, hopefully this helps. Might want to give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if any questions, if anything isn't clear, if you didn't understand anything. Leave a question down below. Let me know if I did a good job of actually explaining how all this fits together and what these layers are. And if you disagree with anything I said, also leave a comment down below. And we do want to hear from you. And also give me a thumbs up on this for this video, and also hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our future videos and all the other great content we have coming out. We're doing more network stuff. We also do a lot of hardware, software, coding. We do like robots, Raspberry Pis, electronics, 3D printing, lots of great tech stuff you don't want to miss out on. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. And that's about it for today. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on that next video.